Hey guys, it's Brendan Bradford from Sporting News here, and I'm joined by Australia's own Jason Maloney, who has just signed on for one of the most exciting fights in boxing at the moment. He's taking on Japan's the monster Naoya Inoue, who is a consensus pound for pound top 5 fighter in the world. Jason, mate, when most people see Naoya Inoue's name on a contract, they run the other way. Congratulations, you're running straight into him.
Yeah, mate. Thank you. Obviously, very happy and excited about the opportunity, but it's no congratulations yet because the job's not done. I'm not just taking the fight and happy to be a part of it. I'm going to win this fight, and I'm going to give this everything I've got and try and shock the world. I've made it pretty obvious that I've wanted this fight for a while now. As you said, a lot of people probably tend to run the other way when they see a challenge like this, but that's not me. I want the biggest and biggest challenges out there. I want to fight the best of the best, and I want to achieve something special in this sport. So here we are. I'm facing the number one bantamweight in the world, and most people have Inoue rated in the top 3, at least top 5 pound for pound in the world. So an enormous challenge, but a challenge that I am very excited about, and I'm going to go out there, give this absolutely everything I've got, and I believe I can do it, and that's why I'm confident and I'm excited.
How long has he been on your radar as a possible future opponent?
Yeah, a long time. I've watched him for years, and always liked watching him. He's an exciting fighter. He's got that explosive knockout power and always, very aggressive. So I like watching him fight. And his only other fight he's had in the States was at the StubHub Centre. When was that? 2015? 2000? I can't remember what year it was, but I was actually there live to watch that fight. And I remember sitting there that night thinking, geez, I'd love to fight Inoue one day. I just, as good as he is, mate, I just, whenever I watch him, I think I'd love a crack at him. And I'd love to see how good he really is. I'd love to test myself against him and see what I can do.
You were in the crowd watching him fight, and that was the first sort of seed when you sort of thought, here's a guy, maybe I'd like to fight in the future.
Yeah, I was there for his only other fight outside of Japan. When he fought Antonio Nieves. I was there to watch that fight, and he stopped him in 6 rounds and looked good. But I've always just watched him and thought I'd love a crack at him. And here we are. I've got my opportunity.
Inoue fought Nonito Donaire late last year in an absolute war, fight of the year, one of the best fights I've ever seen. A lot of people were talking about chinks in the armour and maybe gaps in his game. Were you able to spot anything, take anything out of that fight?
Yeah, I think there is chinks in his armour. I think there's chinks in every fighter's armour. I think people were surprised by that result because they think that Inoue is this bulletproof guy that can't be hit or can't be hurt. And Donaire proved that wrong. When you've got a guy as aggressive as aggressive as Inoue is, you expose yourself to being hit. When you're extremely aggressive and coming in, throwing every shot with bad intentions, you're there to be hit yourself. And Donaire obviously did that and hurt him quite a few times during their fight. But I think he probably let him off the hook a little bit. So there is holes there. There is opportunities to catch him. And that's what I plan on doing. I've got to catch him. And when I have got him hurt, I'm not letting him off the hook.
By the time the fight does come around in October, he will have been out of the ring for 11 months. Do you think ring rust is a factor for him?
Nah, yeah, I've been asked that a few times. I don't think so. I think some fighters that are outside the ring for 12 months, if they're not living the life, if they're blowing out, doing the wrong things, not really training, you're going to get in the ring pretty rusty. But for a guy like Inoue, from what I can see, he's like myself. He likes to be in the gym all year round. He keeps himself in good shape. He's always working and always trying to improve. So I don't think it's going to be a big issue. But I guess time will tell. Yeah, we'll see if he's rusty or not.
And just thinking back to your World Boxing Super Series fight with Emmanuel Rodriguez 2 years ago now, there was a split decision, lost, another epic fight, the first loss of your career. What were you able to take out of that fight?
Well, like you said, that's 2 years ago now, and I've improved so much since that fight, and obviously the experience of the fight itself, is priceless as well. So to fight on the biggest stage and to fight a great fighter like him, obviously you're going to learn a lot from that. And since that fight, I'm a perfectionist and my own sort of harshest critic. So watching that fight back, there was plenty of things I didn't do well, and plenty of things that I've worked on since that fight and improved in a massive way. So it was a good lesson. I sort of treat that fight as maybe a bit of a blessing, because if it was a split decision loss, but if I had have beat Rodriguez then I would have gone on to Inoue and fought him the next fight, and that would have been 2 years ago. And I look at myself now compared to what I was as a fighter in 2018, and I'm so much better now. So even though it was heartbreaking to lose to Rodriguez, I've given myself another 2 years of improvement before I step in there with Inoue, the biggest challenge there is. And now I'm going into the fight with Inoue with a much, much, much better chance of winning the fight. And it's a bit of a blessing. So I think everything happens for a reason. And I've got him when I think it's a good time. I'm 29. I'm coming off a good string of performances, and I'm going in this fight feeling really good, and I'm confident that this will be the best performance of my career, and it'll need to be to win the fight. I'm aware of that, but I'm all ready for it.
And what about just the experience of fighting in the bubble? You were in Vegas earlier this year, and not just no crowds, but fight week leading up to it, everything's different. Do you think you've got an advantage there?
Yeah, I think so. It may not be a massive factor, but yeah, I've fought there in the bubble. I'm going in there knowing exactly what to expect. I know what it feels like. I know the atmosphere. I know the setup. I guess it's an advantage. It may not be a big one, but it's a 1%er, and all the 1%ers definitely add up when you're fighting at the the highest level. So yeah, it's another thing that could go play to my advantage.
Talk me through a little bit about the differences between the fight in Vegas earlier this year, no fans, but a huge amount of pressure, huge exposure, one of the first big boxing events back after COVID. The difference between that and fighting in front of a massive home crowd in Melbourne last year.
Yeah, obviously completely different situations. There was no crowd in Vegas, but I still felt, the massive occasion that it was. Obviously there was you're walking out to the ring and there's no one really in the venue, but I still walked out to that ring nervous, excited, anxious, and I felt that fight night atmosphere of this means a lot. My career's on the line here. I need to perform at my absolute best. So it wasn't all that different to your regular fight night, which people would, maybe imagine. People sort of explained it like, oh, it sort of felt like a sparring match. Well, no, to me, it didn't feel like that at all. I felt the sense of the occasion. I knew that there was more people watching that fight on TV than had watched me ever in my career before. So I knew that I had to perform well, and I knew that fight was going to move me up to the number one position in the world ranking. So I knew how important it was. I knew that I needed to win that fight to open up the door to me fighting for a world title in my next fight, which it has. So I felt that there was a lot of pressure there, even though there was no crowd, but I can perform well under pressure, which is very important. Obviously there's going to be a lot of pressure on me going into this fight. Maybe not from everyone else, maybe because everyone doesn't expect me to win. I'm a massive underdog, but I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself because this is the opportunity of a lifetime. And I know that I've got one opportunity to get this right and to perform at my absolute best, and winning this fight will change my life. So I've got to get it right on the night.
It must seem like you've come a long way since you and Andrew fought each other with one glove each when you were growing up back in the day.
Yeah, sometimes no gloves, but it's yeah, it certainly has been a long road. Plenty of ups and downs, but geez, it will certainly all be worth it. Getting my hand raised against the Nui, so it's I'm as a longer journey as it's been. I've loved every minute. I'm very grateful that I get to wake up every day and do what I love. And this is the pinnacle. This is the biggest fight there is for me, and I can't wait to get in there.
And it's another huge fight for Aussie boxing in general. It seems like we're just pumping them out at the moment, and you're at the forefront of that, as Andrew is as well. Where do you see Australian boxing at the moment?
It's in a really, really good position. It's very exciting. Over the past few years, it's been tough, watching guys do well domestically and, get themselves into a good position in the ratings. And then, unfortunately, majority of the time, they've fallen short when they've gone overseas and fought at the top level. But that's something that me and Andrew are just so passionate and so hungry to change. We want to go over there. Obviously, when we signed to America, signed to Top Rank, we knew we were going over to America, and we want to be thrown in the deep end because we want these big fights. And now it's up to us to break the trend and to win these big fights in America, and show and inspire the next generation of boxers in Australia that this can be done. We're not, big fish in a small pond. We can go over there and perform and win these fights on the biggest stage. And that's something that I really, really am passionate about. I want to go over there and achieve some great things and show everyone that this can be done. And as I said, boxing in Australia is in a really, really great position, but we need success for the sport to grow. And hopefully I can be the man, or one of the men, to men or women, to bring that success and to really light a fire with boxing in Australia and help grow the sport as much as we can.